Back with Dmitry, as they are returning to base, their driver suddenly jumps out of the truck and starts running. Before they can react, they are ambushed, the truck flips over. Taliban fighters begin advancing toward them, but just in time, USSR tanks arrive and attack, killing the attackers and saving Dmitry's team. However, Dmitry now suspects Majid may have leaked their location. They find and beat him again, but he denies it, saying he wouldn't risk his own life. Meanwhile, Hussein realizes there is an informant within his group. After searching, they suspect a man and brutally execute him in front of everyone. On the other side, when the general hears that Hussein is ready to negotiate, he is happy, but his secretary warns everyone not to trust Hussein, saying he is deceiving them and has no intention of making a deal. In fact, he has already killed one of their spies and displayed his severed head publicly. Dmitry finally says enough is enough and suggests launching a rescue mission to bring back their captured men, especially since they are about to leave Afghanistan soon. The general agrees because he desperately wants his son back. Meanwhile, Hussein actually decides to make a deal, realizing the opposing army is too strong and continued fighting will only bring destruction. That day, he brings the sergeant and another prisoner out who turns out to be Alex, the general's son. Alex is in such a terrible condition that even the sergeant can barely recognize him. The Taliban tie them up and take them near a river, telling them to wash. Cleverly, Alex cuts the rope and runs away toward a cliff, thinking he has escaped. But suddenly, the same young boy who first saw him appears, still holding Alex's gun. The boy shoots him. Yes, a 10-year-old child kills Alex. It's horrifying, but it's the harsh reality. When Hussein learns about this, he informs his leader, who goes to meet the army and says they are ready for a deal, but one of their men was accidentally killed by a child, and they had no part in it. They offered to return the body. Now Dmitry realizes there's no point, Alex is already dead. When his body reaches the base, the general sits beside him and cries deeply, but now he wants revenge at any cost. He vows not to spare those responsible. His assistant reminds him that he had warned him not to trust them. Elsewhere, the group leader watches on TV that all army forces will leave Afghanistan within 4 hours. Grill and John feel relieved, as they were sent as guarantees to prevent further attacks. But the leader has a different plan. He locks them in a basement. Shortly after, helicopters appear in the sky. They think the army is leaving, but instead, the helicopters bomb the area, destroying everything and killing many of the leader's men. Grill and John survive because they were locked in the basement, but when they come out, they are suddenly fired upon. Confused, they look around and spot a shadow. They shoot and kill the attacker, but when they go closer, they realize it was the same 10-year-old boy. Grill feels terrible, though he didn't know it at the time. The two then begin walking back to their base. At night, John tells Grill that when he first met Hussein, he believed he had come to help people and save their country from Americans, but now he feels they were wrong. They didn't help the innocent people. Instead, they destroyed their country. After 2 days, they reach the base. The general gives a speech, honoring the soldiers who lost their lives. Dmitry confronts him, asking why he attacked despite agreeing not to. The general claims he received orders from Moscow, but Dmitry knows it's a lie. He did it out of revenge for his son, even though it killed innocent people, including a child. The general, filled with anger, says this is war, people die on both sides, and only victory matters. Dmitry replies that they are leaving. So what victory is he talking about? They invaded another country and caused the deaths of countless innocent people. In the end, local informants come to meet Dmitry and give him a carpet as a gift. He accepts it and leaves Afghanistan forever. Perhaps that's why Afghanistan is called the graveyard of empires. Many have come and gone, but no foreign power has ever been able to rule it, whether it was Russia or America. They all had to leave in the end. So, how did you like the story? Do let us know in the comments. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out. Friends, the story we are going to tell today is based on a true incident. It begins in Afghanistan, where we see some soldiers traveling in a truck. During this time, they are listening to the radio, which announces that the USSR has recalled its troops because they no longer want to continue the war. Meanwhile, their truck is stopped because some Afghan locals are fighting with the soldiers. They claim that these soldiers killed their leader and stole all their money and belongings. When Commander Khatri sees this, he orders a search of all the trucks, but nothing is found. He tells the locals to go to the police, assuring them that they will get their belongings back. However, The locals say that the police will only harass them and won't help at all. Disappointed, they leave. Dmitri and his team also move on, but on the way, he tells his men that he knows the soldiers actually stole the money. However, he didn't reveal this because the Afghan locals might have hunted down and killed all their soldiers. Later, when another officer learns about this, he confronts the soldier who stole the money, punches him, and warns him not to repeat such actions. On the other side, we see a father and son entering their home when suddenly a loud explosion occurs in the sky. The child looks toward the mountains and sees that a fighter jet has crashed, but the pilot ejected safely. The boy rushes there, picks up the pilot's gun, and points it at him. The pilot calmly tries to convince him to throw it away, saying it's dangerous. Before the boy can understand, Taliban fighters arrive, the same ones who shot down the plane. They knock the pilot unconscious and take him away. Meanwhile, Dmitri sees that another convoy has been destroyed by the Taliban, killing many soldiers and looting their supplies. He goes to the general and reports that this has happened 3 times already. The general says he knows and also reveals that the crashed fighter jet belonged to his son. He tells Dmitri the crash location and assigns him the mission to rescue his son at any cost, offering him anything he needs. Dmitri agrees and begins the mission. At the same time, Sergeant goes to Kandahar market to buy music systems. While he is inside, his soldiers wait outside. Suddenly, 2 members of a special unit arrive and mock them, saying they are sitting around like old men while others do the real work. They take away their equipment and order them to get back to duty. A soldier named Grill witnesses this and politely asks them to return the items. When they refuse, he fights both of them alone and defeats them badly, despite their special training. Impressed, the sergeant offers him a role in a secret mission, which Grill immediately accepts. Soon, a group of soldiers approaches the crash site but cannot get too close due to orders. However, the sergeant insists they are only searching for a missing soldier and continues the mission, instructing them not to fire unless necessary. When they reach a village, they notice it is completely deserted, meaning it has likely been taken over by the Taliban. As they proceed carefully, they suddenly come under fire. Some soldiers are killed. The sergeant orders return fire, leading to heavy casualties on both sides. Realizing they are losing, the enemy uses rocket launchers, severely injuring Grill and killing more soldiers. Despite this, Grill regains consciousness, sneaks behind enemy lines, and eliminates those launching the rockets along with their equipment. Afterward, they search the houses and find the pilot's mask in one of them, but the pilot is missing. The sergeant concludes that the Taliban have taken him to the mountains, a place surrounded by enemies and extremely dangerous. Meanwhile, Dmitri uses strategy instead of force. He makes a deal worth $5 million with another group leader named Salim to help locate the pilot. To test him, he gives the location of 2 trucks carrying the pilot. Salim successfully destroys both trucks, proving his capability. Dmitri pays him half the money and promises the rest after the mission is complete. He then reports everything to the general, including his plan and alliances. However, the general refuses external help, insisting they must complete the mission alone. Dmitri disagrees, believing this will cost more time and lives. That same night, a local informant approaches the sergeant with information about a man selling rocket launchers for 1 million Afghan currency. The sergeant agrees to the deal. The next day, he inspects the weapons, finds them to be in good condition, and pays for them. The seller promises to deliver the weapons the following day. But when the next day arrives, when the man goes there, they drive him away. Then the sergeant himself goes into their territory and asks why the weapons haven't been delivered yet. They start misbehaving with him, and suddenly some armed men arrive. Seeing the sergeant alone, they capture him and take him away. In fact, this was all part of their plan, a trap. When Dmitri learns about this, he immediately orders to find out about the people the sergeant last met. The first name that comes up is Majid, the same local man. They beat him badly until he finally confesses and tells them about a man named Sardar, who is a guard of Hussein. Hussein is the leader whose group has captured both the sergeant and the pilot. Hearing this, Dmitri goes to meet Sardar alone, but this time he also takes some men with him. As he doesn't want to repeat the sergeant's mistake, Dmitri offers a deal. They are willing to pay any amount and provide weapons, but in return, Sardar must release the sergeant and the pilot. Sardar agrees to talk to Hussein. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the sergeant, who has been taken to the mountains. His uniform is removed and burned, and he is given different clothes before being locked in a basement. There, he sees another man in terrible condition, weak, starving, and silent. The sergeant tries to talk to him, but he doesn't respond.